Hello, good morning, free spirit beaters. This is Kristen Fagan here, and I'm really excited today to show you how to make these earrings that I have on. They are done with soft flex beading wire and large, bold Swarovski crystal beads. And if you're new to beading, this is a perfect beginner project. In fact, we just launched a few beginner stringing starter kits, so bead stringing starter kits over at Softflex Company's website, which is www.softflexcompany.com. And if you were to pick up one of those kits, you can do this project with the wire and the tools provided. You will also get some beads in that kit, but they won't be the actual bead I'm using today. But you can still do the same technique with the beads you get. And then if you'd like this look, you can always pick up some large Swarovski crystal beads from your local bead store or from a place online. Hello! Dee Sellers says hello from, did you say Canada? Thanks so much for joining us. I am in Arizona, so this is actually my, my home studio here. I work for Softflex Company as one of their graphic designers, and this is where I also do jewelry work, and I'm a painter, so you'll see I tend to have a bunch of art stuff behind me too. Happy to have you here today, and I look forward to sharing this project with you. So I'm going to turn you guys down to my table and show you a little bit about the supplies I have, and then we'll get started. I got a new tripod, so I'm just going to move that one and turn this one down. Okay. All right, so today we're using these beads. I have a couple of others too I'm going to show you, but these will be the main ones. They are 18 millimeter, so you can see in my hand they're quite large. 18 millimeter Swarovski crystal emerald cut beads in the golden shadow color. We do not sell these at Softflex Company, but I did check out fusionbeads.com, their website today, and they do sell this particular bead, so you can pick that up from them. They also sell our wire, so you can pick up wire, Softflex Company wire from them also. I'm going to be using Softflex beading wire in our medium 0.019 diameter. I have a few colors with me. This one is our bone. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this one with a bone and gold crimps. This one is our copper color. So I'm going to show you guys that one as well with our larger crimps just for a variation. And I also have, this is a red, and I have a dark blue with me here today for some other colors that I may show you. In addition, we have crimp tubes. These are Softflex Company crimp tubes, 2 by 2 millimeters in sterling silver and gold filled. And these are Softflex crimp tubes, 3 by 3 millimeter. You can see they're quite larger. I'm going to show you how to use both sizes. The larger size is a little bit easier to work with if you're struggling with the smaller crimps, so that's why I'm going to show you that as an alternative. And then I've got here my magical crimping pliers. We sell these at softflexcompany.com. I have an older pair, so this is a different color handle than you'll see online, but they work the same. This is my regular crimping pliers. And here's my mighty crimper. This I'll use for the larger 3 by 3 millimeter crimp tubes. And then I also have a wire cutter here. And this is the Softflex Company Professional Flush Cutters. Let's see, and then I have a few ear wires. I just have some in silver plated and gold plated. So if you guys have any questions, James is here helping me out with some links and helping you guys with anything that you might have questions on. So feel free to chat and he'll help you. Thanks for being here, James. So the first way I'm going to show you is the one I have on my ear, and that is using the Softflex wire in bone and the 2x2 millimeter Softflex gold plated crimp tubes. I'm sorry, gold filled crimp tubes. So you're just going to cut yourself a piece of wire. This is about 8 inches, and that is enough to have a little flexibility when you're working. I wouldn't want to go too much smaller than that until you feel comfortable with the process. So you'll just string your bead just like that, get it sort of in the center, and then string on your 2 millimeter crimp tube on one side. You'll take the other side, go back through the crimp tube. Oh, I also have a little tape measure here with me. And you're going to kind of pull that down. I have a little tape measure, and I get this to be about 1 inch. So you can just sort of measure your diameter. And then I'm going to take the longer strand I have, and I'm going to feed it back through my crimp tube. So I'm making a loop at the bottom and a loop at the top. I'll show you this process a few more times. Now you'll see my wire sort of got tangled up in there. So I'm going to take this and just pop it so that my wire is now coming out of the crimp tube straight. That just helps with how it will lay in the end. So now you can use these little tails to adjust the size of your wire. I like my top loop to be a bit smaller, so something like that. And then if you have one you did already, before crimping, I usually make sure that they're both about the same diameter on the top and on the bottom. Okay. So now once I'm happy with my size, I'm going to use my magical crimping plier. My magical crimping plier has one notch, which is half on one side, half on the other. I'm going to let that crimp tube sit right in there. So it's sitting right in that little notch. Give it a good squeeze, and it will look like a little square with pinched corners. And then I'm going to put that crimp 90 degrees the other way and give it a squeeze, and then squeeze it all the way around. Really, the trick is just making sure you're in the notch and not off to the side. And what I love about this tool is that it turns my crimp into a really nice little bead there. And then you can trim off the excess wire. Next, you'll pick up your ear wire, and I can just use the end of my crimp tool. Both of my crimp tools have a little flat piece on the end. You can just use the end of your crimp tool to open up the loop on your ear wire. Slide your earring right on there, and then just twist to close it. You just want to open and close it enough to get your wire on it, and that will maintain the hardness of your ear wire. So there's our first earring. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to make that loop a little bit bigger to match that one there. Okay. So you're going to take that crimp and put it right in the center of your notch in your magical crimper. Give it a good squeeze, and then turn it 90 degrees in there. Make sure it fits right in the notch. Give it another squeeze, and then squeeze it all the way around. Because I have this little, oh, that's one thing I should tell you too. Make sure when you're making your top loop that you don't make it too small that you can't fit your crimping plier in the center. So I'll give you an idea of what mine is about 1/4 of an inch, my top loop, and my bottom loop is 1 inch. So you just want to make sure you can get your crimp tool in between there, and then you cut off your wire ends right. Careful not to cut your loops. You open that up, slide your earring on, oh, we'll do another one. I pulled that one a little too tightly. And twist it to close. And there's your first pair of earrings. So now I'm going to show you guys the same process, but I'm going to do it with a different color wire, the same bead, but a different color wire, so you can see the variance. And I'm going to use this larger crimp tube with the mighty crimping pliers to show you how that one works. So again, cut yourself a strand of, Pamela says, love the earrings. Thank you, Pamela. I wear them, I have a pair that I made, let me show you, actually I have them here. I made the same exact process, but I did the smoky, what is this one called? Silver shade crystal and black wire and silver, and I wear these all the time. They're really fun because they just are that one bold bling on your ears. Thanks. And Pamela says she loves my bracelet too. I actually plan to show this bracelet on one of my upcoming Monday YouTube lives. This is done with seed beads and the flat Kumihimo board. So in the future, I will be showing that one. I have it on the list. I just don't know which week yet. We're gonna do it in copper. So this is about 8 inches of copper wire. This is soft flex beading wire medium in the copper color. And I'll do the same process. I'm just gonna string on the bead. I'm gonna string on this large 3mm crimp tube. String it through the other way so you make your first loop. And then I'll take one of the sides and I will loop it back around and through the crimp tube one more time. And you just want to straighten out your wires so that they're sort of coming out of the crimp tube in a straight manner. They're not getting caught on your loop. So that looks good. Now, since this is a large 3mm crimp, I got to use my large Mighty crimping plier. This crimping plier is very much like the regular traditional crimping plier. So the way I show you with this tool is the same way you'll do it with this regular crimping plier that's just a smaller size when you're using the 2x2s. So this is the Mighty crimper. It's got 2 notches instead of 1. Your back notch is called your crimper, and your front notch is called your rounder. So we're going to start in the back. You're going to stick your crimp tube in that notch just like that, and you're going to squeeze it down like a nice firm handshake. You see that okay? And when you take that out, you're going to have a really big divot. I have this facing the bottom, and you're just going to take that crimp and put it 90 degrees into your rounder. So as you see, my divot is facing out, and it looks like a kind of like a C. You're going to give it a good squeeze, and then you can use your rounder to go around your crimp 2 or 3 more times, just shaping it down. And there you have that. This one might be a little bit easier to see too because of the darker color wire. Just trim off your excess. So like I said, this particular crimp tube is a lot larger, so it's going to have a larger look on your earring. But if you're struggling with the teeny tiny ones, this is a great way to practice and use the larger crimp tube because they are a lot easier to handle if you are a beginner or you just find crimp tubes a little difficult and tiny. I don't have a copper ear wire with me today, so I'll just leave that one without an ear wire for now. And I do have a few more crystal colors. You guys want to see a couple of other color options for the similar design? I have with me this aquamarine. This one is the red magma, and then this one is like a teardrop shape in that silver shade. Pamela and Christina says yes. Okay, well, go ahead. Which color do you want me to do? You have a preference? The aqua and the red. All right. I'll do the aqua first. So for the aqua, I chose this color, which is one of my favorites. It's called our dark blue lapis, and it's kind of like not quite a navy, but like a dark denim blue, somewhere around there, and I just love it. So I'm going to string that on there, and now I will use the silver crimp tubes. So our 2mm crimp tubes can hold 2 wires easily and 3 wires, but not always as easily. Sometimes the 3rd pass is a little bit snug. It can do it, but I just want to warn you that sometimes you do have to kind of wiggle it in there a bit. And that one went through just fine. All right, so there is the aqua color with the dark blue lapis soft flex. And I think I'll use I'll show you guys just the regular crimping plier on this one. So this one works just like the Mighty Crimper. It's got the 2 notches, the back notch and the forward notch there. You're gonna slide your crimp to the back notch first. That's called your crimper, and give it a good squeeze. You don't wanna you just wanna give it like a firm handshake. You don't wanna squeeze it too hard. It is just a tiny little crimp, but you wanna make sure you get that divot. See that divot in there? You wanna make sure that you have a clear divot that the crimp has made. And then you're gonna turn it 90 degrees on its side and put it in the rounder, just like that. Let's see. And give it another squeeze, and then go all the way around. Trim your soft flex wire ends. And you can trim right up to the crimp. And then I'm going to use one of these. Just open, slide on your wire, and close. So there's your aquamarine with dark blue lapis version. And then I'll do one red one too. So I have here our red coral color. And I probably will want to string on your crimp tube. Make your bottom loop. And then loop back around in the top one. And you can see once you get going how quickly these kind of can come together. See, I might have made that top loop. Let me use our magical crimping plier again on this one. Making that loop big enough at the top I can fit. All right, so now the magical crimping plier again just has the 1 notch. You're gonna slide your crimp tube, make sure it's sitting in that notch. Give it a good squeeze, turn it 90 degrees, put it back in the notch again, another squeeze, and then just kind of come at it at a few different angles to squeeze and round out that bead. Trim off your ends. Give your ear wire a little twist to open. Slide on your loop and close it back. And there you have it. And so you can see the difference here. That is using the regular crimping pliers, and this one is using the magical crimping pliers, and how it turns that into a nice little bead with this tool. I also did the red ones with the extreme wire, so you can do like the red and the sterling silver extreme, that's another option instead of the red coral. So there we have it. That's a quick and easy project today. Let me turn you guys back around. Thanks for sharing the link, James. There you are. So one of the things I love to do, and I actually made these earrings with a lot of my scraps, is when I'm working on jewelry projects, I keep all the little scraps of wire that I have left over. You know, sometimes I will work on something and then change my mind and end up not doing that project at all. I'll throw any scraps and stuff I have here into this bag, and then I can use all these little pieces of wire when I'm doing a project like this that only needs maybe 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches. I also wanted to show you guys that in the book Seed Bead Revolution that I wrote with Sarah Ayler, I have a project on page 72 which uses that same technique here. So if you have this book, you can turn to page 72 and you can see how, again, how to do that technique in step-by-step directions. And if you don't have this book, you can find this at softflexcompany.com as well. Next week, I'm going to be making something, I'm not sure what yet, with these marbled beads. I took a marble art class about 2 weeks ago, and we were marbling paper, but the instructor also had these cool wooden beads there for us to play with. So they are 2-holed wooden beads that I got to marble. So I have like a handful of them. What do I have? 6 or 7 of them that I marbled with gold and black and silver. And so I'm gonna show a project next week with these. So I hope you'll tune in, same time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, here on the Softflex Company YouTube page. Thanks again for being here. See you guys next week. Bye. I just have to figure out how to